buying photographs too. They can hire as a photographer for their events, like birthday, weddings, death.
The glitz and glam is the fame, but it's the work backstage that makes the game. I'm Crystel and Bundal, your host. Come with me behind the lens and watch their stories unfold. Our next guest for today is one of the most creative people that I know. She has worked with me in many photo shoots. I know her as a photographer, but many others have known her as a fashion designer, and I'm really excited to see if she has explored any other career paths in the creative industry. So please welcome with me to the show, Marissa O'Donnell. Speaking of modeling and photography, so you take photos of people,
yes,
but you also take abstract photography.
That's right.
What other kinds of photography do you do?
You do product photography.
Yeah.
You do wedding photography, events photography,
Yeah.
kids photography, baby photography, but I've tried a little bit of everything, but you know, sometimes it depends on it also varies in difficulty. Like wedding photography, you have to be on your feet the whole time during the event. You can't miss any shots. You know,
It's like you have to have your eyes everywhere.
That's right. You have to be observant and look around and they say, oh, there's someone crying there emotionally.
And you need to take a photo of that?
Yeah, because
really?
that adds to the event.
Oh,
it's like putting together that precious moment, and then you capture it. You know, people don't see it, but you can see it.
And you have to document that.
That's right.
So would you say that that's probably one of the most challenging things? Let's say with wedding photography, you have to really be present.
Yes, yes, and it also depends on the couple, because sometimes they are bridezilla, things like that. Yeah, they demand so much. Make me look good, make me look thin, or something like that.
Have you ever had to photograph anyone like that?
No, not really. Luckily, no.
Not really. That's good then. So you were able to work with lots of people who were very easy to work with.
That's right.
What were some of the challenges other than having to stand all day and like physically demanding? What were some of the other challenges of wedding photography?
Wedding photography, like sometimes the lighting is dark, sometimes in the church it's dark, or the priest won't allow you to take pictures or flash or something. There are other people taking photos aside from you. So those are a few challenges.
So when it's, let's say like the lighting is like dark, and say like the reception is like quite, the lights are dim, how do you take good photos? Because I know lighting is important. Everyone likes to talk about having good lighting. How do you control that kind of situation?
That's why you have to beforehand go to the place or try to assess the place, what sort of lighting they have.
Yeah.
So you can test it.
Yeah.
But then sometimes when you arrive, there's other lights there or something, so you just have to adjust it.
So you also need to know your camera well.
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah. When you're learning about your camera, did you have to do that yourself, or did you have like a mentor?
Well, I just usually look at the manual, and if I can't understand right now, nowadays it's good because you have YouTube tutorial.
Yeah.
So you go through, how do you do this, and then you can find it in YouTube.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot easier then, especially for a lot of people. I'm visual.
Yes.
So I like to watch someone else do it.
Yes.
And then I'll just copy.
Yes, it's also good to join workshops, like group photography.
So wedding photography. We're talking about wedding photography and taking photos in low light.
That's correct.
So you said that you need to go to the location.
Yes.
And know where the lights are.
That's correct.
Know what you need to bring.
Yes.
Speaking of lighting, do you bring lots of lighting with you?
I don't really bring a lot of lighting with me because I don't really have an assistant to carry it for me, so I can just take whatever I can handle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then how are you able to capture, let's say, photos in like low light?
I just use try to use available light, and then perhaps an additional flash or speed light, things like that.
That's good.
Yeah.
So you really know your way around the camera because you don't need to bring.
Yeah, and besides, if you bring a lot of things with you, it's also a hazard sometimes because there are people around you, and if you have so many things to carry with you or stands in front of people, it could also be a liability. People can stumble in it, trip over it.
Yeah.
Your things can fall. So I try to move around. So the less I carry, the better.
That's good. How many cameras do you usually bring? Let's say for like weddings or stuff like that.
Usually should bring two, just like a backup or something.
Oh, okay, so you have like a...
Just in case something happened with that camera that you're using. And then another spare one just in case. Or you have another spare lens maybe on the other one, so you can just pick it up and use it. But then again, I'm small, so I can't really carry a lot of things with me.
Yeah. So what about like battery lives or like SD cards? How many do you usually bring with you? Because especially with like weddings, isn't that usually like the whole day?
Yes, you bring a lot of spares.
How many spares?
Well, it depends, like whatever you have, just bring it with you.
Everything.
Because sometimes the SD card might fail too.
Oh really?
They do. They can be corrupted or something.
Yeah.
So it's better to bring battery chargers, things like that, SD cards.
Always be ready.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Always. So aside from wedding photography and doing works with some models, do you also do landscape?
Not really. In as much as I'd like to, landscape you have to go to different places, and you have to carry your gears and things like that. So I only do landscape for maybe a deal with traveling, but otherwise, because it requires location, going to locations, different locations, and there are more challenges when you do landscapes and outdoor photography.
What are some of the challenges when you're doing outdoor and landscape?
Well, the weather, one, if it's raining or not,
Yeah.
A good spot. Sometimes you want to be in a good spot, but someone's there, or there are people there.
Yeah, so what happens like when I see landscape photography, it's as if no one's there.
Yeah.
How do they do that?
They usually go there very early in the morning.
Be the first one there.
Be the first one there. Or the time of the day when there's hardly anyone there.
Oh my gosh.
But mostly you have to be there early.
If you really wanted to get that shot, you
That's
have to
right.
be there
Yes,
first.
yes.
Wow. Speaking of being the first one to get the shot, is there usually like any competition between like photographers? Because I know a lot of people like taking photos.
Yes.
And a lot of people, we all need to be able to see things visually, like you have like books, like magazines and stuff like that. Is it competitive as well?
Yes, it's always competitive, especially when you're out on events and other photographers are there, like paparazzis. So they're very aggressive, So you just have to find your way through and get what you can.
Yeah. Speaking of paparazzi, do you know anything? Is that like an actual career that people do?
It is. Like people pay for the photographs.
Yeah, and then do you just submit that to like
magazines? It depends on whether that's rare. Nobody else has that shot, so that newspaper or magazine would like to have and pay for that shot.
Yeah.
So even if they invade the privacy, that's what they're being paid for.
Yeah, but that would be an issue for the person who's being photographed.
Yes.
But then for the person who's taking the photograph, that's how they're earning money.
That's correct. That's difficult because you have to face all these challenges. You can be sued, you know, but then magazines are paying money for it.
Yeah. Oh, that's difficult to go into the paparazzi.
I'd rather not go there.
So you like to be given a project and work with it?
That's correct. I'd rather work on the project, be prepared for it, and then know what you're up to. Rather than I don't want to be a paparazzi. First, it's like mostly tall photographers,
and they really need to like move fast.
That's right, and the amount of lenses that they carry with them so big. It's all these long lenses, so they can take photos of.
Is that to be able to take photos from far away?
That's correct.
Oh my god.
No matter how far, you can still take a photo of that what's happening there.
So you wouldn't know, someone could be taking photos of you from
exactly
far.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So
sometimes all these movie actors and they say it's in the privacy invaded because they didn't think that someone else is watching them.
Yeah, because it could be like, who knows, like kilometers away.
That's correct.
But they're able to get a clear view because of the lens that they have.
That's correct.
Whoa, that's a lot to take.
That's correct.
So as a photographer, when you're going into a project, how do you prepare aside from going into the location, doing the lighting? How else do you prepare?
Well, depends whether you have a model or not. You have to choose your model. You have to choose, maybe if you there's someone else styling it and they can style it and you're just a photographer. But if no one else and you're still the stylist or the director, then you have to be prepared for all those. You have to be creative with your vision.
So what are some of the challenges you face when you're doing photography with like models?
Well, there are beginners, there are professionals. So you deal with them on how much they have done or experience they have.
Or how
confident they are. Yes.
So how do you work with people who, let's say, haven't done photo shoots before?
Just try and look for their best and go and try to make them relax, so that they'll not be ashamed in front of the camera, or just tell them to just relax.
Yeah. Do you like being in front of the camera?
Myself, no, not really.
So you like being...
I prefer to be behind the camera.
Yeah.
Just behind the lens, not in front of the camera.
You like being in control of what's being captured.
That's correct.
So when you were talking about before what you liked about being creative and doing things in the creative industry, you said being able to just explore yourself, just express yourself as well. What would you say your biggest goal is as a photographer?
Biggest goal, as long as people trust your work and they're happy with your work, then they continue to come to you.
Yeah.
And they trust you to take their events. I want that photographer to take my event. I want that photographer to take my portrait, because you trust that photographer, right?
Yeah, that's always the goal. How do you build that up? Let's say if you're new, how do you build that kind of reputation that people want to always keep coming back to you?
Well, just keep doing what you're doing, and then you'll learn. You'll learn different angles. You'll learn how to deal with people. You'll learn the lighting. So if you constantly do something, I think you'll improve. And it's every day, every shoot is a lesson or an experience.
Yeah, and let's say like you are going to an event and then all of a sudden you feel a little unwell. Would you still push yourself to go to that event?
Well, not really. You have to have a contract to cover yourself. That in case you're unable to go, then they cannot sue you or something, or you have another photographer that can do the job for you. Yeah, that's right.
And do you need to have that backup photographer, or do the client needs to have the backup?
Sometimes you do it, sometimes the client, but in the last minute, it's sometimes hard to. It's better if you just recommend somebody that you know, rather than the client looking, and then there'll be an origin.
Oh yeah. So even as a photographer, when you're doing things with clients, you also need to have contacts.
That's correct.
What are some things that you need to outline as a photographer that protects you?
Well, about copyright and things like that, how much they can use the photographs for something, and where it is, you know, whether it's raining or not, you have to write that down in your contract. Yeah, because there are situations that happen.
Yeah, so when it comes to like contracts, also outdoors, you sometimes would be like taking photos in different properties.
Yes.
Are there contracts involved?
Yeah, there are permits in contract that you have to get, because sometimes if you take photo, it could also hinder affect the workflow of the place. Or it can hinder people walking, or people working. So you need to have a permit.
Okay. So when you're having a permit, how much notice do they usually need?
You have to write and let them. There's usually a form that you have to fill in or submit to them.
You need to let them know what you're doing.
That's correct. How many people are there? What equipment you have? Things like that.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of equipment, when you're going to like another place where you need a permit, and you're saying that you yourself don't bring too much stuff with you.
Yeah, that's why that's good too, because the more equipment you need or you bring, the more liability you have, because people can trip on your tripod, on your stand. It can fall on somebody. But if you have less to carry, then sometimes they just let you get away with it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So, well, usually if you have more stuff with you, you need to have someone to carry it for you.
You need an assistant. you need some, warning signs and things like that.
Oh, even warning signs?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, wow.
There's like filming going on, something like that. Or
would there be cases where they need to like block off?
Yes, they do. That's why you need the permit, because the one in charge managing the area can just say there's something going on there at the moment, so you can't go in.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Block off a certain area for you.
Even like wedding photography, there are places that needs permit, and then it's exclusive for the couple.
Okay.
That's why they pay permit.
Yeah. So you need to pay. How much are they usually?
They vary. That's right.
Very expensive.
If it is in demand and a lot of people are taking photographs, it can be expensive.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a challenge for many photographers who like to do outdoor. What would you say is your favorite kind of photography, or where do you usually like to take your photographs?
I like outdoor photography, because there are different locations, and then it's also a challenge with your lighting, because every time you move, the light changes, things like that. So and you use available light, I think.
And you also the textures outside very nice. It adds a nice character to the photographs. What are some of the other challenges that we haven't covered that photographers usually face?
Well, it's the customers. The customers, you have to, there are really customers who are really fussy.
How do you deal with that?
Well, that's why you have contracts. That helps you.
So it needs to really be detailed and outlined, the things that
that's good. Yeah. Because sometimes you say, oh, we're not happy with your photos, things like that. But it happens. You can't really please everyone. But then if you have a contract, at least you protect yourself.
That's good. Yeah, so speaking about not being able to please everyone, obviously as a photographer, especially in arts,
that's right.
You're creating something that's in your own style, doing things in your own way, while still following the guidelines that the project has been given to you, how do you face the criticism that people give you?
Criticism is not really pleasant, or you can take it as constructive, but sometimes people are malicious and destructive in their words, harsh, and if you can't say anything, I think better not say anything. But if you're like suggesting maybe you can improve on this, or maybe if you have helpful tips, then that's constructive. But if you're just there to say bad things or nasty things or be malicious about it, then that's not constructive.
Then how do you do you need to respond if it's not constructive and they're just being completely critical?
No, just say, okay, we'll do something. Because the more you argue, I think the more they'll sort of like put you down or something. Because there are people who try and put you down.
Yeah.
The intention is like, I know better than you. I know, things like that. So better not have anything to do with them.
Yeah, or they sometimes make you feel like you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Doesn't that
because that puts you down. That puts you down.
Yeah, it definitely does. So then how do you keep yourself together?
Of course, sometimes you're affected, but then you just have to carry on. Just carry on.
Yeah, just like take your fingers and just keep moving.
That's right. Yeah.
How about when it comes to like constructive feedback?
Yes.
Your clients are giving you. Do you like receiving constructive feedback?
If they have something to suggest and they said, oh yeah, that's good suggestion, then yes. Yeah. If it will improve your work, then yes. But if they're just there to say, oh, it's nice, oh, it's ugly or something, then how can you improve it? Can't tell me. If they can't say anything, how you can improve it, then that's not constructive.
Yeah. I think also if they're able to give you constructive feedback as the artist, that also builds a relationship together.
That's correct. Yeah. Sometimes they say, tell me honestly, tell me brutally. If it comes from you, you ask for it. But sometimes if you don't ask for it, don't say anything nasty or something. Then that becomes hurtful.
Yeah. Because there are some people who do want to know. Truthfully,
that's correct. Yeah, because that improving. What can I improve on? What do you think I can do better?
Let's say, so you were saying before earlier that your dad was a little strict when it comes to creative arts. Was he a person who was giving you constructive feedback throughout when you were learning?
Yeah. They were just strict because I was into acting.
Okay.
Because they say, don't come home late, things like that.
Oh, so when it came to being creative, they just let you let your imagination.
Yeah, that's right. But they were just strict because, in terms of coming home late, you know how Filipinos are very conservative.
Did you face any challenges when you're having an artist or creative block? Did you ever experience that?
Oh, there are times, just like anything, you sort of like think about, am I doing the right thing, or because sometimes you constantly do something, and then sometimes you get tired of what you're doing.
So then is that kind of like a signal that you need to be doing something different?
That's correct. Explore, because sometimes you just keep doing repetitive things, like especially if you're employed, then you do repetitive things. So sometimes you get sick of it too. Just like anything, you get sick of it. Constantly doing the same thing over and over.
Yes. Have you ever experienced that? What was one moment that you experienced a creative block?
Oh, yeah, exactly. When it's like, I'm just doing this for something. Like commercially, it's not really creative when you're getting paid. Take this, or take this photo for this. So it's not creative. You're just doing it for the work to get paid.
Yeah.
And then it can be boring sometimes, like anything. repetitive, and then there's nothing new about it. It's like you get sick of it too, just like anything.
So that's a challenge that I guess you faced when it was in graphic design. You were doing that for commercial work.
Yeah.
Do you still do commercial work now?
A little bit. Just a little bit. Whatever comes.
So how else, as a creative artist, were you able to like as a photographer? What are some ways that you can earn?
Photographer you can earn is like taking photos of like portraits, landscape, but then landscape you need to have I think partnership with a gallery maybe. So you can display your work, have exhibits, things like that, so people can buy your work, your photographs. Then clients can buy your photographs too. They can hire as a photographer for their events, like birthday, weddings, death. I took a photo of death.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What was it? Was that challenging for you?
Yes, because you see different emotions everywhere. But then what can you do? You have to take picture. You're asked to take picture.
Did you? Oh my gosh! So it was kind of like documenting, but instead of capturing like happy, it was a funeral.
That's right. Yeah. Very
sensitive emotions.
Of course, yes. Yeah, and sometimes you're affected too. I felt like crying. Like you're there, but you can't.
Because you have to stay professional.
That's correct. It's like you see, it's not for everyone, I think. But it just so happened that there are people that cannot attend the funeral who would like to see it, so you document it for them, for the family. But otherwise, it's sensitive, very sensitive.
Yeah. So how do you deal with that kind of situation? Do you have to completely detach your emotions from?
Yes, you just dare to capture it. Although sometimes you just hold back your emotions, because this is a time that you grieve.
Yeah.
And you try not to be destructive or it's a solemn moment, so you don't want to be really people looking at you. So you try to be respectful and try to move discreetly.
Just let them have their moment, and you
That's right.
capture it and then give it back.
That's correct. Yeah.